What's up everyone, Dave here at Black Label Painting. So today I am stripping some Death Guard that I purchased as a rescue army. So the paint typically is pretty easy to get off the models, surprisingly. It just all depends on what you use. Right, today I'm using just Purple Power. You can pick that up at Walmart. You can pick that up at any of your favorite automotive retailers. They sell it. It's a heavy degreaser, so it's like an engine degreaser. In this instance, with this paint, I'm discovering that I might have been a little bit better off going with Castrol Super Clean. Now, Castrol Super Clean is a little stronger, so you can use either one. One just requires a little bit more soak time and a little bit more elbow grease. Usually the Castrol Super Clean would have dissolved all the paint on these in just a few hours. These have been soaking since 2 a.m. so they're going to require a little bit more elbow grease to get the paint off. I have to soak a little bit longer. It's not a huge deal. Whenever it comes to a rescue army or just anything that you want to strip, it's usually worth the effort because, let's face it, these models are expensive as fuck. So once you paint these things, you are not locked into that paint scheme or that paint job. You can always get it off there. But I'll just show you real quick how simple and easy it is. Get this set up here over the sink. I typically will run the water. I'll look for, lukewarm, not hot, but lukewarm water, and just an old toothbrush. So I got this Death Guard head and torso here, and it's just as simple as scrubbing. Now again, the Castrol Super Clean seems to work a little better, but you can use the Purple Power. Purple Power is cheaper. Castrol Super Clean is about $10 a gallon. This stuff's about $7. So it's really not much of a difference. I should have just sprung and bought the Castrol Super Clean, but it is what it is. Usually the Castrol Super Clean works really well. I just didn't know. It's hard to tell going into it what type of primer they used. Usually the Games Workshop primer is the hardest primer I have found to strip. Now the paint will peel right off the models. You'll just be left with the original primer base. Not a huge deal. You can come back over and airbrush some primer over top of it. I say airbrush because you can put it on thin and it won't build up and lose a lot of detail. But that usually works just fine. I've had a couple people ask me how I should go about stripping models, so that's why I figured I would do this video real fast, real quick, we'll show you guys. It's not really that hard. It's actually pretty dang easy. Just takes up a little bit of time. And you'll notice it'll come right off. A little bit of pressure. Usually not have that much problems getting it out of the detail. That once you prime that, none of that will come back through. Some of these, yeah, they're gonna have to soak a little longer. I wasn't sure what type of primer was used, and this primer seems to be a little more stubborn. It's not a huge deal. I'll get them off. Take a little time. Give me a good idea on the tanks. In most cases, you can just grab the paint and twist it right off, which is basically what I'm doing right here. I'm just rubbing it off with my hand. So you definitely don't have to feel locked into your paint Once you paint something, if you don't like it, you can go back and strip it. Not a big deal. I mean, look how that come off on a huge chunk. It's like someone used some type of gray primer when they primed these. Definitely was not an airbrush, it was an aerosol primer. Usually airbrush primers, they'll come off really, really easy. Aerosol primers are a little tougher to get off. But like I said, if you're using the Castrol Super Clean, it will eat it off fairly quick for you. I mean, this is working. You can see it's coming off. I'll have to do a little bit more scrubbing in some of the detail areas, like that right there. But it brings it right off. So some people may not want to mess with stripping paint. Totally get it. If you got the cash flow, you can afford to go spend $150 for on Spartans per Spartan. Go right ahead. Me, on the other hand, I'm perfectly fine with spending a little bit of time scrubbing. Break off some of that. Goes off. Sometimes it's best to just break the model apart. It'll allow you to get everything off of them like you want. It'll get you a lot of the detail. Whoa, but you can see I've just got a little bit more to go here and there in spots, but you can even go as far as just ripping the tank apart and just stripping it 100%, which is more than likely what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip all these tanks apart, that way I can get them 100%, even though they're Death Guard. So it doesn't really matter if they got a little bit of spots here and there, a little bit of loss in detail, or a little bit of buildup of funk. It'll be fine, but I'm just going to go ahead and rip these things apart and strip them 100%. With the tracks and such. Pretty easy. And that right there will give you the gist of it. Not that hard. If you just got your army, if you just keep improving your painting, and you look at your old army and you're like, man, I can paint this so much better than what I did. Strip it. Strip it and start over. Just as simple as you gotta wear a rubber glove as far as touching inside of the like the vat that I'm using here. You don't want to get this stuff directly on your skin because it is a very potent degreaser. I mean, this rips dirt and grime off of engine blocks. So be cognizant of that. Be careful, wear eye protection, wear gloves, and be careful. Shouldn't have any issues. You guys see how easy it is to get it off. I mean, I'm applying a little bit of pressure, but all the paint is just melting right off of it. Good times. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap that up. And I want to thank you, Patrons, again for your support. I will try to get some more videos up. I've been way behind on getting uploads. I didn't do any uploads last month. I just started a new job, so that's been kicking my butt on getting used to the hours. So I will try to get a video up for the decals. I'm going to show you guys how I do decals. And then I want to show you guys how I paint flesh. So I'm going to work on getting those two up this month alongside this one here, stripping your miniatures. And then be on the lookout at the end of the month. I still am honoring giving away that Badger 105 airbrush. So stay tuned, guys. We will catch y'all on the flip side. Later, guys.